Hatcher. Remains a very, very good FA Cup final. And Hatcher! What a magnificent goal!
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue match preview at Hillsborough against Sheffield Wednesday. 12:30 kickoff. Sorry about that. The dog's trying to bite me. Get down. God almighty. It's a madhouse. As soon as I start talking, it turns into a right madhouse. My apologies. Where was I? Just remember where you can find us. We are available on X or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you watch us, please go and like and subscribe. If you listen to us on a podcast, please go and rate us 5 stars. As you can see, scrolling down the bottom as well, voting closes for the FCAs, which is the Football Contents Award, on the 12th of October. So there's still plenty of time to go and vote for us. You can vote for James as well when he comes on because he's not in the same category as us. So that's fine. We're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. He can do steel fabrication work up and down the country. We are partnered with the Sky Blue Tavern and Dylan's Brewery. And we've also teamed up with this year with the Sports Social Podcast Network and Sky and Friends Dog Walking and Pet Sitting Services. So on that note, let me bring my guest in. My co-host as normal when he comes. Oh, hold on. I don't know why that doesn't do it automatically. Good evening, Mark. How are you?
Good evening, Stuart. I think the dog was still excited about the result last night.
Oh, I know. Must have been, mate. What a game. Yeah. So let's talk about that one first before we bring James in. So 4-0 away to Milwall at the Den. Difficult place. Could have been a bit of a banana skin of a game, really. But every player to a man was absolutely brilliant. And obviously, we spoke about it just slightly off air. Haji Wright's second goal was an absolute dream of a goal. And I can watch that over and over again. It was just brilliant. How did you think they get on? And how did you rate their performance?
I think it was probably our best performance of the season. When you consider, I know we beat QPR 7-1, but I just felt this game on paper was a tougher game, but to win like that away from home, to play the way we did, particularly going forward, was absolutely brilliant. It was a great team performance. To me, it's a real statement win. It's a real statement to say we're here to challenge the season. That's what it felt like last night. It felt like a really positive result, a really good performance. You see all the comments on social media from other clubs, lauding us, thinking we're going to, saying we're going to go up this season, which I don't like because that adds a bit more pressure. But it's good that people are talking about the football club in a positive way. It was a brilliant team performance again. We took the goals well. We were clinical up front. We took our chances. We probably could have even scored more. Should have got a penalty in the first half. Torp hit the post after that. Thomas Santos should have scored early on from a corner. So lots of positives. Really, really good night. I thought Rushworth had a good game. He made some important saves, and we look a well-oiled machine. And that's a win without Redoni and Mason Clark. So that just goes to show, we're in really good health. 22 goals in 8 games is an astonishing stat. That's almost three goals a game. There's so many positives. We've just got to keep this momentum going now.
Yeah, obviously in the second half we rode our luck a little bit defensively. We sat back a little bit. They worked the ball through the channels and through the lines quite well as well. How do you think the defensive held up? Obviously another clean sheet. That's 3 clean sheets in a row now as well. So ever since, Mark, you said Rushworth hasn't been up to standard and Bobby Thomas hasn't been up to standard, they've both just they've obviously heard you and they've stepped up from that and they've got back-to-back clean sheets, haven't they?
Yeah, I'll keep saying they're rubbish because obviously if I keep saying they're rubbish, they put in great performances. So yeah, I'll keep saying that. But no, they've been brilliant. I was thinking, does Lampard maybe? I mean, he might even do it for this game at Sheffield Wednesday. Does he make some changes just to freshen things up? I thought defensively we were good last night. Yeah, I mean, Rushworth's making good saves. There's not really any negatives I can say. I think Josh Eccles has done really well since he's come in. He's come into the side with Radoni injured. We're all bemoaning the fact that Radoni is out, and could that derail some of our, not once the season, but it could mean that we could drop some points without him. But he's come in and he's done it exceptionally well. So, I think that's a great positive for us as a squad. We've got players who can step up and do a job for the team, and long may that continue. It's really good to see. There's a lot of positives with the club. There's a real togetherness with the squad. Lampard is doing an amazing job. He's been with the club now just under a year. He's improved a lot of these players. We just look a different side. We're pressing well. We look fit. We look a fit side now. I'm not saying we were totally unfit under Robbins, but we do look a really fit side. We're a side now that look hungry. And if I was to make a comparison this early stage season, I look at how Leeds played. You look at that game against Leeds last season when they came to CVS Arena, and the way they pressed us and that's what I'm seeing now in this team. I'm seeing our players pressing, hungry, getting into opposition faces. It's great to see, and we just got to keep it going now. And in a way, I think after this game we've got the international break, and that's probably come at a good time because that gives us an opportunity to hopefully get some injured players, back on the training field and ready for the Blackburn home match.
Yeah, definitely. So without further ado, let's bring our guest in. Wednesday Till I Die podcast. Mark James, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad your dog didn't interrupt our podcast earlier anyway. So
they were asleep. They've literally just woke up for mine. It's sod's law. James, before we begin, just to remind us where we can find you and what you guys do.
Yeah, so it's the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms. We're also on YouTube as well. Sunday, 8 o'clock is our slot that we talk about. Everything to do with Sheffield Wednesday. And fingers crossed, hopefully, we'll be talking about a win. But I'm not holding my... No, I'm not going to, put too much on that one, to be fair.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so the history, really... is in our favour, I would say as well. The last 6, you've won 1, you've lost 4, and we've drew 1. Obviously, we've played a couple of, a few cup games within that period as well. What has Hendrik Penderson done differently, if anything, that Danny Roll was doing when he was here? Was you disappointed that Danny Roll went? And are you do you think Penderson could do the job for you? Do you think he can keep you up?
No. Harry Potter couldn't even keep us up, to be fair, this season. I think it's a thankless task that, and it's just, I think he's on a hiding to nothing, really. You could also argue he's on a win-win situation because nobody's expecting us to stay up, and I'm sure we'll come on to kind of our recent form in a bit, and doing a lot better than what anyone would have expected, even though we are, we're only a couple of points off the bottom. So, I think... when going back to Danny Röhl, yes, I was a bit disappointed that he'd gone, but I totally understand it. That relationship between the chairman and him had broken down back in January. A lot of people said that he's down tools and things, but I think we now know that a lot of things were happening behind the scenes. Whether he was, I can only presume he was promised some money and some transfer funds in January, and that wasn't forthcoming. And there was a lot of negativity around the club, which obviously just ramped up and got worse and worse and worse to the stage that we're in now. But Henrik, I think it was the obvious appointment because he was already there. We haven't got any money anyway, so we're not really going to bring anyone in from the outside either. But just purely from a managerial perspective, he knows the players. Like, none have come in. We've got two new players in Harry Amass and Ethan Horvath, the goalkeeper, who's an emergency loan, and Harry Amass has been practically donated to us by Manchester United, taking pity on us. So it's the same players that Henrik Pedersen was there before. Like he came in as Danny Rill's number 2. So from that point of view, he knows everything. It's just a smooth transition. And Josh Windass came out on a podcast during the season. I want to say March time or something earlier on, and he was actually saying how obviously Danny Rill takes all the plaudits, but actually Henrik Pedersen he's more of the attacking coach. So we were better at attacking than we were defending last season. So he was kind of saying, look, he's the mastermind behind all of that. So, and you can kind of see that now. He's a lovely person. I mean, he's never going to say any bad words, even though we are in such a bad state. Some, I won't say it's come under criticism, but people are saying he's a bit of a happy clapper. But I mean, what else are you expected to do? Like, the guy at the top. Well, I was going to say he's paying your wages, but he isn't at the moment. But you're not just going to totally chuck him under the bus. It never ends well at all, and there's no real benefit of doing that. Sometimes the press conferences that you have, they're pretty pointless in this day and age. They all know what they need to say and how they need to say it and things like that. But he's letting the players do the talking, and like to answer your question again, like we're not going to stay up this season. Absolutely not. We haven't got the squad to do it. We haven't got the players to do it. We might have got a decent 11, and I'll say decent. It's okay. But you look to the bench, and we've absolutely no strength in depth, and he knows that because I don't think he's once made 5 substitutes this season. And any subs he does make, he's right at the death with like 5 or 10 minutes to go.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, you've already mentioned the transfers, Harry and Mass. Obviously, you lost a few people, probably mainly because they weren't being paid, so they ended up going. Gassama went to Rangers, I believe. Obviously, Josh Windass has gone to Wrexham. I can name another, I think 10, 11 players, I think, that have gone as well. So it has obviously depleted you slightly as well. Is there... Look, you form recently, to be fair, you're 3 unbeaten. You've won 1 and you've drew 2. Granted that they're hard-fought games, but these are the games that, can surely spur you on and try and get you them extra points.
Yeah, but it's one step forward and then 2 steps back all the time because, yes, we got our first win of the season against Portsmouth. Nobody really expected it. Went down there, long trip down, got a 2-0 win. Fantastic goal by Barry Bannon, a rare free kick that he scored, and then a goal from George Brown in his debut, which in his first full league debut, which again totally unexpected. You'll have all seen it, the one where the Portsmouth player goes down injured, and George Brown just carries on and smashes it home. He still had quite a lot to do and put it away brilliantly. And then QPR, we go ahead in that game and then give away a silly penalty, but we still stayed in it. We could have crumbled, but we managed to get a point. And then right at the death, 98th minute against Birmingham, the team that's not lost at home since 2012 or something. I think they were trying to tell us, but we could have held on for a 2-1 win, and nobody really expected that whatsoever. And you're right, it does give us some positivity. But then, just before the Birmingham game, players get told that they're not going to be paid for the 5th time out of the last 7 months, which doesn't really, and that's Henrik Pedersen's been saying, because he gets asked about this both pre and post match. He's still saying that they're not thinking about anything like this. They are fully focused on the game. They're not wasting any energy on that. And again, he's going to say that, but the players are all human. Jamal Lowe put an Instagram post on after Birmingham. He scored, and the music that he picked was a song called "Pay Me." That's not a coincidence. They are thinking about it. It's something that's out there, irrespective of what the manager's saying. So it's just not going to help. And the players, well, we are the massive underdogs, and sometimes we've seen in recent history that goes in our favour. And we're massive underdogs in this game on Saturday. I think we're going to be underdogs in pretty much every single game this season, and there's literally zero pressure on them. And from a fan's perspective, I think it's like bigger than the football. The 90 minutes of football doesn't really matter. Every week there's a bigger picture to all of this. But yeah, purely from a footballer perspective, yeah, it is positive. I didn't expect to be cheering any goals this season, or certainly not a win. And like I said, the one against Birmingham, right up until the death, I didn't really think it was possible. So it's just nice. It's a welcome distraction from everything that's been going off behind the scenes.
Yeah, obviously, because of what's been going on behind the scenes, I've got to ask it really, I suppose. Obviously, there's a lot of talks that Sheffield Wednesday fans are going to go on the pitch on 10 minutes and get the game abandoned. Do you see that likely to happen? Because obviously, from a Coventry point of view, we don't want that to happen. We want to play the 90 minutes out, and we want to hopefully get that win and get the 3 points and carry that unbeaten run on and move on, kind of thing. What do you think's going to happen on the day?
I honestly don't know. What I do know is that fans are getting increasingly more and more frustrated. I think there's an element of fans being frustrated. There's also an element of apathy as well, and it depends on which side of the fence you kind of fall on, really. Some have just given up. They're not going anymore. That's their kind of protest. So they've just purely given up on some. I wouldn't say supporting Sheffield Wednesday, because there'll always be Wednesday fans, but giving up in terms of going to the games and stuff like that. There are elements of a certain section of the fan base that are incredibly angry about the whole situation, and I totally get it. Football is a way of life for many people. We are a big football club. We do have a big fan base as well. You just see how many people it's actually affecting. Just for one man at the top that's doing all this, he can put an end to this really quickly and really simply just by selling the football club. And literally, I would have anyone. Mike Ashley, where are you? I'll even take him tomorrow. I know you're probably not very fond of him with the stadium and things like that, but that's the state that we're in. I would literally take anyone tomorrow because I just want to be rid of this man. So yeah. Again, our fans going to go on the pitch? I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens on 10 minutes. I can't honestly say. I think social media is not a great barometer for the actual, what's actually going to happen. It's a good indication. You get a lot of keyboard warriors out there and stuff like that, but it's certainly gathered pace, and it would not surprise me if there were people trying to get on the pitch. I mean, he ain't got any money, so I would say there'd be loads of security, but they probably haven't been paid for last month, so they're not going to be very forthcoming in getting extra people there, are they? So I don't know. I mean, let's just wait and see what happens. Okay,
fair enough. Mark, any questions?
Well, there is one silver lining for you, and that's you're above Sheffield United in the league, I guess.
I wasn't going to mention that, but seeing as though you have done, you've done it for me, haven't you? Really? So. Yeah, that is quite funny. Mind the Gap has been ringing around. Hillsborough is ringing around St Andrews as well. The Sheffield double was on for the second time this season, which I didn't think was even possible. I thought it was going to be the other way around at this point, but no, we've already done it once this season. And the Wilder revelation's not happened yet, has it? I thought he was the Messiah, but clearly not.
Yeah, clearly not.
I was going to ask about Barry Bannon, and I think he signed a contract this summer. I mean, he for me is a Wednesday legend, and I can see that as a non-Sheffield Wednesday fan, as a Coventry fan. I mean, he for me is just immense. He is the heartbeat of Sheffield Wednesday, isn't he? I mean, what a player, what a service been for your club.
Yeah, he bleeds blue and white. We all sing 10 more years, Barry Bannon. He has been here 10 years now. There will be a statue of him. We haven't got a statue of any player, but if there was going to be one, it would be of Barry Bannon. He is just Mr. Sheffield Wednesday. He had lots of opportunities to go at the end of last season, and he's turned them down and he stayed at Sheffield Wednesday. As to why, I don't really know. I mean, me personally, I would have wanted him to move on at the end of last season, not because he's not good enough, just because I feel like this season was going to be horrible. And what I didn't want to happen was to be 30, 35 games into the season, and then people turning on Barry Bannon and your legs have gone and all this, that and the other, because it's just a whole mess around him. I mean, that still might happen. We set off okay at the moment, but I just don't want him to end on a sour note and things like that. He's not getting any younger or anything, but none of that happened. He's still here, so I am really thankful that he's here. He doesn't seem to get any. I know I've just said he doesn't get any younger, but he doesn't seem to be getting any older in terms of the way that he plays. He's still running round for the full 90 minutes. I mean, it might come to bite him in the arse a little bit. He did have to go off kind of 5 or 6 minutes before the end against Birmingham, which you could argue probably potentially cost us the 3 points in the end. But he's just fantastic. He picks out passes that that nobody else sees. The last 3 games, he scored a great free kick against Portsmouth, and he got 2 assists in the last 2 games against QPR and then against Birmingham. All 3 are from set pieces as well. I know, Stuart, you were saying that you've only conceded 1 goal from open play, so it wouldn't have been music to my ears like last season, because we were awful from set pieces. But certainly, 3 goals in the last 3 games from set pieces certainly helps, and it's him that's doing that. It's Barry Bannon that's been doing it. And yeah, fantastic footballer. And like I said, let's just build the statue now.
If you stop Barry Bannon, do you stop Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I think you do. I think we do play through him a lot, and you can see that why. Certainly this season as well, when we've not got, we haven't got any other not top quality players. We're having to fill the ranks with youth players who, I'll give them the dues. They've stepped up and they've done a job. But I think from a creativity point of view, definitely we do look to Barry Bannon to sort that. And I think in open play we don't create a great deal. We give up possession on purpose, I think, as well. We try and hit teams on the counter, which is probably why we're better away from home than we are at home as well. And yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of chances, but they're all half chances. We don't create clear cut chances very often, and if we do, it is Barry Bannon. I think he's got the most key passes out of anyone, or he's certainly up there in the top 2 or 3. I think it's in the top 4 divisions. So he, for those who don't know, key pass is the pass that creates a shot. So no matter what the shot's like. So I think that's mainly down to the fact that he takes all the free kicks and he takes all the corners from either side. So he's always going to be quite high in that metric. But again, he's our creative option.
Mark, does that sort of, do you think that bodes on Saturday for Lampard to maybe man-mark Barry Bannon?
I don't think they'll make special plans for him. I think they'll just play him. I don't think they will. I think they'll just, sort of set up similar to how they probably set up yesterday, really. But yeah, he's clearly their best player. But I saw the game. I mean, I watched the Birmingham Sheffield Wednesday game midweek. I thought Wednesday played very well, actually. I thought, I think they conceded a bit of a sloppy goal. I think Stansfield scored the first goal, but then they fought back really well. They were very, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth for them. They didn't win, but I think it's a game where the only thing that goes slightly against us, I guess, is not much rest between last night and Saturday. Saturday lunchtime kickoff is a bit of a pain in the bum.
James don't like that. Don't say that to James. He don't like that.
Well, I'm with Lampard on that one because he's made that.
Mark, Lampard has been getting the excuses in early. He's getting the excuses in. Like you can't hack it. We didn't have as much rest as you did for the game on Tuesday. So it swings and roundabouts, really. I think it's just moaning for the sake of moaning and planting them seeds that on Saturday come, 2 o'clock, it'll be, they're tired. Midfield, we're a bit tired. It's making excuses, I think, to be fair.
I don't think it's an excuse. I mean, personally, if we lose and we don't play well, we don't play well. But I don't think it helps. But equally, I think Stuart's sniggering in the background as I'm saying all this.
Only because I know what James is thinking.
Yeah, but I think coming back to the question, I think I'll tell you what I also rate. Is it Ingolson, the guy who plays long for? I think he's a good player as well. He sort of plays kind of wide on the left. How's he been playing for you?
Yeah, he's I suppose I wouldn't say he's a fan favourite, but he's one of those that fans will like because you can see he puts 110% effort in. I think technically he's not the best, but yeah, he's one that will run around a lot. And I think if you look at it from a technical aspect, you'll probably not really like him. He does give the ball away a little bit, he does make a few mistakes, but he will just run. And if there's a bit of a counter attack going off, he'll just come from absolutely nowhere, and he'll just ball and man he'll go and he'll win possession back or knock it out for a throw-in or whatever and stop that attack. And that's always something that everyone likes. We had Jose Semedo kind of 10, 15 years ago, who again wasn't a great footballer, but put 110% effort in. And as a fan, you appreciate that a lot more than perhaps someone like a Josh Windass, who technically is miles better, but because he was an arrogant little so-and-so at times, kind of rubbed fans up the wrong way. So yeah, he's great. His long throws can be a bit of a weapon. We don't really score many from them, if I'm being perfectly honest, but get it in the mixer can cause a bit of chaos sometimes. So it's always a good attribute to have.
Yeah, well, we've got Milan. Brow can also take a long throw as well. So we've got a couple of long throw specialists. So they should be used to it in training and be able to cope with that anyway. Any threats from us that you see, James? Any questions for us?
What, from a Coventry City perspective? Just try not to score as many goals as you've been scoring. To be fair, I think 22 goals this season already is mental when you look at it. You've already had a 5-3, a 7-1. There's been goals coming from absolutely everywhere at the moment, and that's I think we've conceded the second most in the league. So you've got the team that scored the most goals and against a team that's conceded a hell of a lot of goals. It doesn't really bode very well for us at all, and we're not great at Hillsborough either. I think that comes down to a bit of, I spoke about kind of having no pressure, but I think just when you've got the virtue of 15, 16, 17,000 fans at Hillsborough or 20 odd as it always tells us, which is not strictly true at the moment because we're doing our best to try not to go at the moment. But no, when you're at home, I think there's a tendency to try and be the team that kind of controls the game, and we just can't do that. Away from home, the away fans are more than happy to to let the other team have it for 60 to 70%, whereas at home I don't think it's as accepted. So I think. I just see the goals that you're scoring. Hadji Wright is one who is on form at the moment. Victor Torp is another one. So the goals just aren't coming from your forwards; they're coming from everywhere, which is obviously a real concern. And it looks like Frank Lampard goes for the jugular. So he doesn't. He's scoring 7 goals in a game. You could have stopped, at 4. You didn't need to score 7, but he just keeps going and going and going, which. My fear is that it's going to be a bit of a hammering on Saturday. But having said that, I think the last 3 games, the other reason why we've probably got a result out of those is because I think all 3 sides, so Portsmouth, QPR and Birmingham, probably underestimated us a little bit and gave us a bit, kind of just thought it was going to be easy, and then it wasn't, and then it's very difficult when that happens to kind of raise your game when you have kind of just by human nature just set off pretty slowly, and we've kind of capitalised on that. And you saw the scenes at Birmingham on Tuesday. I thought they won the Champions League the way they were celebrating, but I think that is the opposite side of it. It can work against you, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's why Lampard is kind of saying to the players more than making excuses. I'm trying to defend him slightly here a little bit, James, but I think he's trying to get through to his players that they can't rest on their laurels against you guys. They've got to make sure that 100% they're doing their job and they know exactly what they're doing. So I think it's more for the players, getting into the players' heads rather than making excuses. I'm just trying to defend Lampard as much as I can.
Stuart, put that shovel down, mate. It's
fine. Right, on to predictions then. Oh, go on, Matt, sorry.
No, I was just going to make the point that I think complacency is a massive danger. I think Sheffield Wednesday have done a lot better than what people think. I know James has the opinion they might go down, but I've looked at their performances. I think they've always, all their players are given 100%. I thought they played pretty well at Leicester. They were a little bit lucky to lose that game. They even scored first at Leicester. So they played well at Birmingham. the one at Portsmouth. So I don't think it's a pushover. I think the thing we've got to guard against is complacency. If we go out there thinking we're going to win 5-6-0, football doesn't work like that. You've got to earn the right to win any game of football. So
the thing is, Mark, the problem is the depth in the squad. We just haven't got those players. Like I mentioned, the 11 looks okay. We've been helped by the fact that we've got Ernie Weaver and George Brown who've come out of the academy. Ernie Weaver is, just he'll throw everything into everything. He's like, he'll head bricks, that lad, and he's only 19 years old. George Brown the same. He's already got 2 goals to his name. He scored against Birmingham. That's his second goal in just his first 3 starts. So he'll have a lot of confidence. He was actually came off the bench on Tuesday as well. So they've kind of expanded the squad because they were players that we didn't think we had. Whereas, again, I mentioned, you look at the bench and we've got Ike Ugbo, who hasn't scored a goal since he didn't score at all last season. He only scored at the back end of the season prior. He's bang out of form. He's not even getting any sort of game time whatsoever. We have Jamal Lowe, who scored on Tuesday. He did actually start. But other than that, it's just all the kids who, most of them will if they do come on or start, they'll be making the debuts, which, we're going to have to rely on these players at some point. And you can ask for a battling performance, but you can't do that week in, week out. It's just not possible for a group of 11 players in the Championship when you've got games that are Saturday, Tuesday. I mean, we're grateful that obviously we've got that this week. This will be the 3rd game in a week, but there is an international break after that, so they will get some rest. Coming to the Christmas time, it's going to be very telling when all the other teams are rotating. And then also you get January where other teams strengthen and they might have got a few injuries and they can bring in replacements for those. Well, we can't because we haven't got any money. We're not paying the players. We're under a transfer embargo. We've got transfer fee restriction until, 2056 or whatever it is. Like I don't think the problem is now. Our problem is going to be kind of post-January, really, when the squad is going to be... We think the squad's thin now. It's going to be even thinner after January, and that's when I think we're going to really struggle.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, apart from that, we're absolutely fine, mate. Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. We've been in this position before as well. We do know what it feels like, and we do have. I know I'm laughing, and I shouldn't really be laughing because we've been.
Mate, you have to laugh. If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
That's the way that it was.
No,
so,
we have been there. We've been there.
We've been there. We know. Right, prediction time then, boys. I'll come to you first, Mark.
I'm dangerously going to predict the Coventry win this game. I'm going to go 3-1 to Cov.
Okay. James?
I can't come on here and just say that we're going to get hammered, but I am going to do that in one sense. I'll give you 2. My heart is saying that we're going to keep this unbeaten run going. We might have enough to draw 1-1. My head is saying I'll be conservative and say a 3-0 Coventry win.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go for a 3-0 win. I think we'll get another clean sheet. It might be an early goal and then a goal just after half time and then a goal at the end or something like that. I think it will be a difficult game. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game at all. But I think we'll have enough. And I think, Matty Grimes and Barry Bannon, I think will be a good challenge in that central midfield. It will be a good battle between them two. But I just think that we will have a little bit more quality in the rest of the team. I
think for us, it's we've got to start well. I think if we go behind early doors, I know we went behind in the first 10 minutes on Tuesday. We did come back into that game, but kind of against the run of play, to be honest. But I think it'll almost feel a bit like a cup game, like a Championship side against a League Two side, in the way that I think we'll probably set up. In that, it'll be a bit of a lower block, I feel, and we'll just try and hit you on the counter. And it's one of those where you're watching the clock and it goes to 10 minutes and it's still 0-0, and it's 20 minutes and it's 0-0, and it's half an hour. Do you know what I mean? And then the Coventry fans will start to get a little bit agitated because you're expecting to be beating us at that point. And then the longer it goes on, which I think is what happened on Tuesday. I mean, we got a goal and went in at level at half time, but it was almost like we're 1-0 down, but it was a kind of, look, if we can get to half time, only 1-0 down, we are still in this game. And I feel like that's how we're going to set up really, and I think it's just a case of just frustrating you, and the more we can frustrate you, and obviously if we can go ahead, then you never know what might happen, but we'll have to see. Can I just also say as well, for anyone that is going to Hillsborough on Saturday, we're doing the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust have been relentless with the boycotts and things, and we're saying not a pound in the ground to try, and what we're trying to do is starve Dapon Chansiri, the owner, of any sort of income. We haven't been buying the shirts. You'll not see many people wearing the new home shirt. Obviously, you'll see 11 on the pitch, but that'll be it. You won't see anyone else really wearing it. There'll be a lot of black and gold. The strap line is black and gold until we're sold. So we wore in '93 the away shirt was black and gold. So you see a lot of them dotted around in the black and gold scarves and things. But we're also saying we're not buying anything in the ground. I mean, on last Saturday when we were at home, on the concourse there was only 2 of the kiosks open, and there would have been about 10 or 12. So there was no one were buying food or drink or beers or anything. Everyone's literally stopped spending a penny inside the ground. So it would be fantastic if there's an Aldi outside. Get all your stuff outside the ground before you get in, and just try and refrain from spending any money inside if you can.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much. Before we let you go, quick fire questions, one-worded answers if you can. Doesn't matter if it goes into a bit of a sentence, that's fine. So first one is player to look out for you guys this season.
Ernie Weaver.
Okay, fair enough. Where will Cov finish, do you think?
Second.
Okay, where will you finish?
Bottom.
Okay. And one player from Coventry you would take? Don't say the whole team.
At the moment, you'd have to say Haji Wright with his goals that he's scoring.
Fair enough. Okay. Before we let you go, just remind us where we can find you and what you do, James.
Yeah, so it's the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms. We're also on YouTube as well. We just react to, at the moment, we've been talking about all sorts to do with not even football. Do you know what? I think I've read the EFL handbook cover to cover, and I'll tell you now, it ain't a bestseller, and it's not a great read either. But the amount of embargoes that we're currently under, which is 5, which will probably be 6 by the time we play you, by the way, has meant that I've had to read that. So, no, we react to the game, and we'll be talking about, hopefully, a Sheffield Wednesday win on Sunday at 8:00.
Okay, fair enough. Just remember where you can find us as well, guys. It is scrolling on the ticker down the bottom. X or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. If you watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. If you listen to us on a podcast, please go and rate us 5 stars. Remember, voting closes on the 12th of October. I think it's midnight. So please go and vote. And obviously, please go and vote for James as well. He's not in the same category. We're the best football podcast, and you are best creator.
Club content creator for the Football League, yes.
There you go. There you go. So, once again, thank you very much. James, thank you very much for coming on. I hope everything gets sorted out as soon as possible for you guys. Mark, thank you very much for joining me once again. And play up Sky Blues.